Oh look, there's an old guy, your favorite. Hi guys, welcome to episode number 8. I know I've been MIA for a little while, so I'm going to go over why that is in the end of the video. But for now, what we're going to do is just go straight into a back workout. I changed my back day a little bit when I changed my programming, so you'll see some new movements in here today. I'm also going to end the workout with a little bit of side delt work. So before we get into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so back day exercises have changed a little bit since the last time I took everybody through a back workout. So the only reason it really changed is just for novelty. The other movements I was doing basically came to a point where there wasn't really too much progression being made. So I decided to switch out some movements for other movements, and some movements I kept in. So we'll go over that today. For now, what first exercise is going to be is this cable row right here. It's going to be a high cable row. Previously, I was doing these unilaterally or one arm at a time. Now I'm going to be doing this 2 arms at a time, so dual arm. Still going to be the same arm path, still high, still targeting the upper line of my back. The main reason I switched this from unilateral to dual arm is simply just to save time. It's not better one way or the other, but this way I'm able to get in and out a little quicker. What I'm going to do here is 3 or 4 warm-up sets. After that, I'm going to go into my working sets, and the working sets are going to be 2 sets between the rep ranges of 8 and 15. Is that on? Okay, so warm-up sets are done. Gonna go into my top set here, and just like I say all the time, it's all about control of the movement while you're doing it, and really pushing yourself to, the point where there really are no reps left in the tank. Okay. Now, if you're training with, RIR, you can, debate against that. You don't need to go till there's nothing left in the tank. But with the way that I'm training, I do go, pretty much every set is going to be essentially to the brink. And within that, it's very important that you keep your form under control, okay? Throwing the weights around to get extra reps just to match the logbook does not count. That's just falsifying your logbook. So make sure the execution is precedent and be focused during your entire set. So on that final rep, you can see I'm actually fighting through the rep, right? So you usually have a lot more in the tank than you think. A lot of times people will get to that point and they'll just immediately stop. But most of the time you can grind through that and complete your rep. You might even be able to get another rep or 2 after. That's a skill that you develop over time by continuing on to that point. And past it, but just want to throw that in there, that a lot of the times you are more capable of reps than you think you are, so don't always limit yourself to your rep ranges. If your rep range is 8 to 15 and you pick your weight, you hit your top set, by the time you get to 15 you have a couple more left in the tank, keep going. You might get 17, you might get 18. And that lets you know that on the next rotation, when you come into the gym, you can add weight to that lift, and then you will land within your rep range. And you just constantly progress in that manner. All right, so going into the second movement is going to be T-bar row. Now, again, I've had this in my program previously as well. However, I was doing this upper grip pronated like this, and that's gonna target my upper line. So what I did when I switched this was I went to the neutral grip, and that is going to target more of my lats and more of my mid back. Also, within this, the way that I like to perform this is rather than have my feet on these pads right here, I choose to have my feet down here in this position. So that allows my chest to essentially just breathe a little bit more. If I have my feet up here, everything crushes down and it makes it very hard for me to breathe. So when I have my feet down there, I'm able to keep my chest lifted off the pad a little bit more. And that also allows me to really feel like I'm using my lats more because of the positioning of this. Whereas if I go over here and I let my chest hang over, that angle just makes it a little bit harder for me to connect with my lats. So that's a little tip there. You can try that if you do this movement. If you're a little on the shorter side, what you can do is put some plates down here, so that way you're able to get the positioning that you want to have when you pull. Rep range here is going to be 8 to 12. I'm gonna do 2 sets. I already did 1 acclimation set, so I'm basically ready to go into my working set, which you're gonna see right here. All right, so going into my second set, this is gonna be a back off set. So my first set was a top set. I did hit the top end of my rep range, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna be able to hit that weight again and still land within my rep range, because the rep range is a little shorter. The previous one was 8 to 15, this one's 8 to 12. So there's a little less range in there. So what I'm gonna do to ensure that I hit the rep range that I want, maybe even a little bit more, and ensure that my quality stays very high, is I'm going to back off the weight a little bit and then just hit a set again. So I'm aiming for the 8 to 12 rep range again here, but if I'm able to go a little bit more with good quality, I will continue that. So notice again that no matter what I'm doing, there is going to be a significant amount of control throughout the duration of the exercise. Even when the reps get slower, get much harder, it's still very important, probably even more important during those reps, to keep your form standardized. Stay in the set and finish out the rep. Third movement in is going to be this neutral grip pull down here. So this is going to be a little bit more lat specific as well. Now within this movement, I'm probably going to be leaning back slightly while I do this, so that way my arm path can remain a little bit more lat dominant. Here is going to be 2 sets, 8 to 15 rep range as well. And just like I said on all the other exercises, form and control is going to take precedent here. Lastly, you'll see that I'm not going to fully extend on the way up, I'm going to try and stay within my last active range. So that means the range of motion on the top is going to be, slightly cut short so that I guarantee I'm within the active range for my lats. Now it's recording? Was it recording before? Well, then what'd you do?
I just switched the focus.
Oh. Okay, so going into the final back movement today is going to be this Star Trek chest supported row. So this is going to target the upper back. Now, normally my sessions go upper back, lats, upper back, lats. However, today, because we're recording, I looked at my workout before I came here and I kind of like superimposed both of my workouts together. So I actually went upper back, lats, lats. And so because of that, I'm going to put this upper back movement at the end right here. So, if you ever find yourself in that position, it's totally fine to improvise. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're supposed to do hack squat and it's taken and the gym's really busy and you're trying to get out of there, you can Smith squat, you can barbell squat, you can leg press. You can always find an exercise to exchange. I wouldn't necessarily do that every single time, especially if you're concentrating on progressing your logbook. That will throw you off if you're switching exercises every time. But, in certain situations, you can totally do that. So for here, I'm gonna do 2 working sets within the 8 to 15 rep range. Last movement of the day is going to be some type of movement for the side delt. So whether that's on a machine or doing partial side laterals, doing laterals with dumbbells, or what I'm going to do today, which is an upright row. So I'm not too picky within that movement. My rep range is anywhere from 15 to 30, no matter what movement I'm doing. And this, I'm really not so particular about logbooking. With shoulders, usually shoulders and biceps, triceps isn't something I concentrate too heavily on logbooking. I'm more about just putting in the overall volume, making sure that I'm pushing myself during those sets, and that's what's really going to create the growth. So for the upright row here, your grip is kind of dependent on what is comfortable for you. So you're going to be pulling up to here or a little bit higher. It's really going to depend on your mobility, where you feel it in your side delt, and then your grip, how wide you want to go. Same thing. Find what is comfortable for you, what allows you to feel it the most in your side delt. So for me, it's usually somewhere around here or all the way out. For today, I'm going to go all the way out because I've been liking that on my warm-up sets, so that's what I'm going to go with. And this is going to be 3 to 5 sets, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And it's going to be within the 15 to 30 rep range for all of those sets. All right, so home now from the back and shoulder day. What I'm gonna do is just slam a protein shake. This is not my normal meal plan, but today, I'm not really sticking to my meal plan. Me and Heidi are gonna go out. I gotta run a couple errands as well, so I'll take you guys along for all that. And just to ensure that I'm getting in enough protein today, that's why I'm having this protein shake after my workout. So I'm gonna have 3 scoops of my usual protein, just slam it, and then I'm gonna go run some errands. So this is what it is. Right here, my usual protein. 3 scoops of this is like 66 grams of protein. Not really caring too much about the fats and the carbs here, again, because I'm going to be going out to eat anyways. So, I'm not really tracking all that stuff. I'm just trying to make sure that I get in enough protein throughout today. So this is going to be like 140 grams. And we're a little over, but again, doesn't really matter. Not really tracking today. Just trying to make sure that I get in enough protein. Errand number 1, the homie Dan, gonna wash my whip. So errand number 2 is going to be Walmart. This is like the most dreaded place to go, but the groceries here are like $1 or $2 cheaper than the grocery store and like literally everything you buy, so that's why I go here. Yes, I did. Doing all-you-can-eat sushi, and before I start eating, I just want to say that this is not an invitation to eat like an asshole and to binge eat just because I'm off the meal plan. Okay, I'm still gonna control myself, right? So this is what I'm gonna start out with here. This is 10 pieces of salmon. And then I have 10 pieces of tuna coming as well, and I'll pretty much show you guys everything that I eat here. But again, just because I'm doing all you can eat, it is not an invitation to full out binge eat. You still need to control yourself. If you can't eat, probably another 3 hours after this, you went too hard, you ate too much. So, do take that into account when you have off-plan meals. Second round here is going to be 10 pieces of tuna. And probably after this, probably get another 10 pieces of this, and then, I don't know, we'll see from there. I'm basically just eating off of, fullness, how full I feel.
Some thick tuna.
Casualties of war. God damn it. Round 3, same thing, just 10 more tuna. I thought you already showed that.
I did.
Oh.
Are you gonna spill again?
No.
Okay.
So last round here is going to be 4 pieces of yellowtail and another 4 pieces of tuna. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to call it here. Me and Heidi are going to go probably watch the Punisher for a little bit, and then I think we're going to grab some frozen yogurt at, what's that place?
Golden Spoon.
Golden Spoon. But if we do, we'll take you along for that as well.
Do you have anything to say for yourself?
She's hating on my poor people sandals.
They're a little too small.
I only had size 9, okay? I needed sandals. Didn't have my size, so I had to deal with this.
Alright, you're still cute.
The final stop. All right, and this is the finished product. What'd you get?
Peanut butter cup.
And then I got half cake batter and half raspberry sorbet with brownie bites. What'd you get?
Oreos.
And Oreos. So this will be the last thing that I eat for today. Oh! And first of all, I want to apologize for the sound quality. I thought the mic was hooked up the entire time. Turned out it wasn't hooked up. You can probably tell the sound difference now that it is actually hooked up. So in the next video, I'll get that sorted out so that there's not a bunch of like background noise in the gym if I do another gym video like that. What I wanted to go over was just kind of where I've been. Like, I haven't really been posting too much on Instagram. Definitely haven't been posting here on YouTube, and that's just because I've been dealing kind of with not like full-blown injuries, but kind of setbacks, and it's been like one after the other to the point where it's, you know, gotten a little bit discouraging. In the last video, I thought I had torn my hamstring, so I took probably like 2 weeks off of training my hamstring completely. And within that time, I decided, because my hamstring can't use it right now, got to take, you know, remove those exercises, not do those. I was going to go even harder on quads, because now I have this kind of extra recovery capability. I have this extra energy that I can, you know, throw into quads. So the first week I did that, and everything went really good. Quads got absolutely blasted. And I, you know, took multiple progressions on like pretty much every movement. After that though, the next session that I did quads, I guess I just pushed it a little too far, and man, my knee really flared up really badly. Where the patella and the shin basically connect with that tendon right there, that was just super painful, to the point where like I couldn't do anything. So then I had to take off, you know, probably 2 weeks for that. And within that 2 week time period, my hamstring started to feel better. I had worked my way up, back on the RDLs. I was doing like the first time I went in there, I think I did like hundreds. Then I did the 135s. Then the next week after that, or the next rotation I had it in there, I did the 150s. Everything seemed to be going perfectly fine there. After I did 2 sets of the 150s for 8 reps. I did all pauses on them. Everything was really good. Then I went right after that to go do the seated hamstring curl. I probably got 7 or 8 reps in, and I felt another like twinge in my hamstring. So not the same as the first time where there was like an actual pop in my hamstring. It's hard to describe what I felt. Your hamstring is like a string, right? Like on a guitar or something like that. And it felt like whatever twinge happened in there, it felt like something was crawling up and down the string of my hamstring, essentially. It felt very odd, very weird. So I immediately cut my set right there. And that was like kind of the last straw, because I thought my hamstring was better, and it apparently wasn't. So it was just like setback after setback. It was my hamstring first, and then I was able to still train quads. Then I wasn't able to train quads. Then I thought I was going to be able to train hamstrings again. Then the same thing happened essentially. So it was like I pretty much couldn't really train legs at all. And this whole off season has been focused around improving my legs. My legs are lagging in terms of their symmetry and proportion to my upper body. So I've pretty much, been dedicating everything that I can in this off season to improving those. And it's like, I felt like I was on such a good trajectory. And then all of a sudden it went to, I wasn't able to, train them at all. And these setbacks seemed like, in the moment, like, man, when am I ever going to be able to train legs again, especially as my off season is starting to come to a close. So it was like, am I going to be able to even train them by the time I'm supposed to go into prep? Am I going to lose all the muscle that I've gained? So thinking about all those things, and just because I have very big plans on what I want to do next year, and then potentially the year after that. Next year is going to be a very big year, depending on how things go. That could set the landscape for much, much bigger things. And so when I was thinking about all those things, I'm like, man, if I can't train legs, or if I, screw my legs up, it's like all those kind of things go down the drain. So I was just not in the best spot mentally, and for someone who really loves training, it's hard to have that taken away from you, especially when you're hyper focused on one body part. It's like you're super focused on growing your chest or something like that, and all of a sudden, like, you have a shoulder injury or something, and now it's like, oh well, you can't train chest again for like 3 months or something like that. So a lot of different things were running through my head, and it just got me into not a good headspace. And so, that's why I wasn't really posting very much on Instagram, and also wasn't posting anything here. I think as far as my legs go, I still have a long way to go. The knee still is bothering me, not as much as it was beforehand. So it's not as flared up. And I do think, after kind of doing some research, that it is heavily related to my mobility within my right side, my external mobility, my internal mobility, in both like hip rotation, my ankle mobility. Literally everything on my right side is significantly worse than it is on my left side. So I'm hoping if I really start doing some mobility drills for that, that I'll be able to kind of hopefully alleviate the pain. I don't think it'll ever 100% go away, because I do think, after my knee surgery that I had years and years ago, there's just always been pain there. I've never been pain-free in that knee. So, my goal is just to see if I can get it to the point where it's manageable, where I can actually, go back to still training legs, right? I don't ever think I'm going to be pain-free, but I would like to be as close to it as possible, or have something that's manageable. And then as far as my hamstring, I think it was just a case of, pushing it too hard, too fast. So that part I'm not as worried about. I think if I just give it a longer period of time to recover, everything will be good there. So I'm hoping maybe by the end of August, maybe mid-September, somewhere around there, I'll start being able to train legs a little bit harder, or actually have some decent sessions, right? Right now my sessions are like almost like physical therapy sessions. Like, I'm going in there and I'm really not moving a lot of weight. I'm just trying to get blood in the muscle and do mobility work and stuff like that. So just wanted to give a little update as to those things. So I'm gonna start trying now, that I'm in a better headspace. I'll be posting more on Instagram and stuff like that, and I'll be posting more here as well. So there shouldn't be another 4-week span before I post again. I'm gonna go back to trying to post, once a week or once every other week, something like that. So just wanted to give a little bit of insight into that. And for anybody who's dealt with injury, it is normal to go through those things, to have those thoughts, especially if you're, highly driven and highly motivated, and your injury prevents you from doing the things that you are trying to accomplish, right? So just wanted to cover that, but I'm going to end it here just because this video is already very long. So if you guys have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below. I will always answer them. For now, though, I'm going to wrap it up here. So I'm going to say peace, and I will catch you guys in episode number 9. Peace.